Hi, I'm Katie, and I wanted to do a mental health selfie today, um, based around my relationship with intrusive thoughts, and my experience of them. So the earliest intrusive thought, although at the time I didn't know it to be that, was when I was at my boyfriend's house, and into my mind, out of nowhere, popped this notion that I wanted to strangle him. Um, I knew I didn't want to, but I didn't know what to make of the thought at the time. I'd never had anything like it before. I didn't know things like this could happen. So all I wanted to do was get as far away from him as I could because I was terrified that I was going to do something that I'd regret. Um, Following on from this, these sorts of thoughts kept coming to me. Thoughts about hurting myself. I know I had some about crashing my car into the wall, making myself sick. Um, and also hurting other people like my family and people I had close relationships with. And I didn't know what to do to it, but it all built up. And one day I was in the car with my mum, and we were on the way home, and I just broke down into sheds of tears, um, about the fact that I felt like hurting myself. I wasn't At that time, I wasn't ready to say to her that I was thinking of hurting other people, because as terrifying as it is for me to experience these thoughts without knowing what they are, it's terrifying, I imagine, for other people to hear them as well. And that's understandable, I guess, which is why I'm making this video, to give a bit more information. But she sat and listened to me, and then we passed that to my dad, and from that I ended up seeing a counsellor at college who I told about my self-destructive thoughts, but also about my feeling violence towards other thoughts. I was experiencing another type, which I'll come on to in a little bit, but at that point I didn't feel able to tell a soul about it. I didn't even tell the counsellor. So at some point during my time at college, or shortly after, my thoughts began to get better, and they started to kind of go away. I don't know what it was. I could not pinpoint what changed, but it just kind of went away. And then when I came to university, I was in my room one day, and somebody popped up on my Facebook, a friend from home, who wanted to confide in me about something they'd been struggling with. And I was linked an article which was written by a medical professor from a university, which was all about sexual intrusive thoughts. And unbeknownst to them at the time, and coincidentally, it was really helpful for me, because those were the type of thoughts that I was also experiencing, but had so much shame over that I didn't even tell anybody. I couldn't even tell that counsellor. So to have a friend be brave enough to talk to me about it actually helped me, because I was going through that. When I got this article, I then felt like I could tell my parents, and I could tell my mum about it. And I don't think my mum really knew how to take the situation at the time. From that, she's a lot better now than she was, but at the time, I guess it's understandable. But that really, really helped me to come out and open up to a lot of people about these thoughts that I was experiencing, because up until that point, I thought I was on my own. I thought I was not right, and I didn't know how to go ahead with life. Basically, I didn't really know how to handle it. So, I mean, it was all fine from there on out. And that was the first time when I learned that what I was experiencing was something called intrusive thoughts. Which, finding out that what I was experiencing actually had a name and was quite a well-known thing that a lot of people experience, was it provided real solace for me. And I guess that's why I'm doing this video, because if you're experiencing intrusive thoughts, you aren't on your own, and it can be very difficult to go through. It's very hard to know that you're thinking the things that you don't want to think, which is, I guess, what I want to leave with people who don't experience intrusive thoughts but might not understand them, is that people that have intrusive thoughts, they don't want to act on them, that they're not dangerous. I've never acted on any of the thoughts that I've had. I know the people that have had intrusive thoughts and they never have too. I mean, people that experience them, fear kind of engulfs them, because they're terrified, or I'll speak for myself, I was terrified that people would find out what I was thinking and would judge me for it, because what my intrusive thoughts are telling me is not who I am, and it's not what I want to do. They're just in my mind, and I can't always control them. So firstly, I was terrified that people would find out what I was thinking, and secondly, I was terrified I was going to act on them. I would want to get as far away from a situation where that I was thinking about to avoid. I would want to avoid that. And people with intrusive thoughts, that is common. That is what they want to do, because they're so fearful that they are going to cause harm to somebody or harm to themselves, that they don't want to be in the situation. And I think I just want to stress that with people who aren't familiar with intrusive thoughts. We're not dangerous, and actually talking about it, if somebody tries to confide in you about an intrusive thought, the best thing you can do is sit there and listen to them and say to them that it's fine, and that you might not understand, but you don't judge them for it. Because for me, talking about it is it's therapy for me, and it helps me, and I know talking helps a lot of other people. It helps me make peace with it myself, I guess. So yeah, I'd like to just leave that with you, that people with intrusive thoughts, although they might think these things, they A, don't want them, and B, they're not dangerous and they're not going to act on them, no matter how scared they are that they are going to. And finally, I just wanted to leave you with a bit of me singing praises of the charities that are out there to support people with mental health problems, basically. So I met a couple of volunteers, fantastic volunteers from OCD-UK a few weeks ago, and they're brilliant, absolutely brilliant. They enabled me to sit in quite a public place and talk about all different types of my intrusive thoughts, whilst they were able to share their story with me. So they have a fantastic website that has a lot of information on it about different types of OCD. So that's OCD-UK.co.uk, I think. I'll put the link in the box below just in case I've got that wrong. There's also Time to Change, which is a national campaign about reducing the stigma and discrimination that surrounds mental health problems, which is another fantastic charity. They do a lot of great work and have quite a lot of events throughout the year, so you could check out them too. And finally, Mind, who, if you want to know any more information about different mental health problems, that's probably the first place to begin. A lot of information on there, a lot of information about problems, but also about how you can help yourself and where to go from there. So yeah, I definitely recommend checking out those web pages if you want to know more. Basically, thank you for listening. I hope that it's been insightful for some people. But yeah, I might do another video in a couple of weeks or whenever. So yeah, thank you.